and it says broadcast has started.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I just want to make sure that it's live across all my little platforms and everything. So now we're official live. This is all right. So I'm going to start over just so people out there in the social media world can know who this is. I'm Nathaniel Sawyer, activist, leader in Monterey County, and this is Brian McCarthy. Brian, could you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for using the platform for such good. My name is Brian McCarthy. I am a resident of Marina. The Marina City Council actually has a vacancy on their council, and it was left by Adam Uridia, who had to leave the council unexpectedly. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time to put that on the ballot for the people to elect a replacement. So the existing council is going to be appointing somebody tonight at a special meeting that starts at 6 p.m. And the Zoom link is on the Marina City website. And so I am applying for that position along with a couple others.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us your background. I'm one of those people, before you get into the nitty gritty of politics, tell us about you. What's your character like? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So I grew up as a military child, so I moved around a lot. I lived in Southern Alabama for a while. I lived in California. I lived in the Midwest. Like you, once my career started, I went around the world. I went to Iraq for several years to work with the U.S. military on some issues. I am an openly gay man. I came out in the late 90s as a teenager, so that's been a really interesting, eye-opening experience for me. I joke with people that I'm very used to being hated, because for the first half of my life, I felt a lot of people genuinely did kind of hate me for who I am. But it shaped how I see the world, and it shaped how I view, other people that are disadvantaged, that come from different backgrounds, maybe different races. And it really encouraged me to think outside the box and be really open-minded about seeing the world through somebody else's eyes. So that's a little bit about me. I've always been interested in city politics, interested in having the debates, and really trying to make the world a better place through that process.
Okay, thank you for all that, Brian. What do you think about the Black Lives Matter movement? As an African American, that's really close to my heart. Of course, there's many issues that are close to my heart as a person that studies policy in my graduate school. But right now, the Black Lives Matter movement is a very hot topic. What is your ideas or political ideas? What would you like to see happen? What is something that has gravitated towards you in the midst of COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter movement?
So first, I want to say that systemic racism is absolutely present everywhere, and including in Marina. And there's people that want to wish that not to be true, including myself, but that doesn't make it so. And it's very important that folks don't close their eyes to that paradigm. Even before the current tragedy of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, I had been advocating at the Marina City Council that we explore the idea of having things like a police commission to explore possible systemic racism within the city, have citizens participate in the process, have citizens provide feedback directly to the city and the police department where they think systemic racism is occurring, and to kind of have that dialogue. Of course, now that the tragedy is what it is, it's become all that much more important, right, to have these things and these discussions. I think that these discussions are very important, but they existed before, they exist now, and they're going to exist tomorrow. But we don't start to find those solutions until we sit down at the table and really look each other in the eye and say, hey, what are the problems from your perspective? Let me do more listening than talking.
Brian, I appreciate you saying that, because I have personally attested to you being in the city council meetings via Zoom, of course, and you fighting for Black and brown people, and also listening. And if you don't understand something, you're not afraid to say it, but also to see different perspectives, and I respect that. I'm one of those people. I'm about actions, and words don't mean much to me. And what you've shown me is actions. Even when the fires were happening in California, I personally can again attest to you helping victims put their animals in a safe place, and the victims themselves where were we at? We were at the I'm going
The
blank.
equestrian center,
The
Marina.
Equestrian Center, yes. And if you want to talk a little bit about that as well, go ahead, because this is our city. This is Marina, and the Marina residents should know every single thing that you have done. It's sometimes it's okay to tell people what you have done for the city that you're trying to be a leader in.
Sure,
Yes,
yeah, I
you are.
appreciate that. And that's where Nate, you and I kind of were fortunate enough to have some kind of neat, candid conversations. And it was nice to do that in an environment where we were both just trying to do good for other people, get our minds off of all the tragedy that's occurred in life on a day-to-day basis. And, seeing those animals and just kind of, again, trying to do good for people that are in crisis, I think is good for the soul for anybody. So I am definitely very active in the community. I'm out and about, people see me as opposed to maybe some of the other folks that will be applying for this position tonight. And I want to talk to people. I want to learn their stories. I want to see how their opinions are different than mine, how their culture, how their upbringing has shaped them differently than my culture and my upbringing has shaped me. One of the questions I always ask myself is, why aren't there more Black leaders in the city of Marina leadership? Why aren't there more Black staff members that better represent the makeup and demographic of Marina? And why aren't there more Asian leaders, whatever the case may be? But asking those questions are really important. And I think if we dive deep enough, we're going to find some answers that aren't going to be pretty. But until we get those answers, we can't start working towards a solution.
Thank you. Hey, Brian, you brought up a good point. You are white and you are, in general sense, a white male, but you are different in the facts that you are a gay man. Do you want to bring that up and how there's not a lot of LGBTQ people in the political realm these days?
So I spent a lot of my adolescent years in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is known for being a very diverse and has a large African-American population. But growing up gay in the 90s in that city was most of my friends at the time were Black and gay. And so growing up Black and gay was really dangerous. And so, it really put things into perspective. Here I was concerned about having things thrown, from a car at me or whatever. And yet, when you're Black and gay, you're worried about literally your life, being arrested, what's going to happen, interactions with the police. And so that experience growing up in that city at that time, with a sexuality that was different from the majority, has really allowed me to see things through different colored lenses. It doesn't make me perfect. It doesn't make me able to understand everybody's unique culture and everybody's unique upbringing. But I do think that it provides me a lot of compassion and ability to kind of relate to people that are different than me. You're right. I am a white male. I grew up with relative privilege, and I think admitting talking about it openly and candidly is an important first step in the discussion. So.
Hey, Brian, tonight is a very important decision, right, for Marina. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what you need from the people tonight if they want to see you as a city council member?
So first, I am advocating for myself, but more importantly, I'm advocating for people to get involved. Show up at 6 p.m., watch the presentations from the 6 folks or the 5 folks that are applying, and try to form your own opinion. Who have you seen out in the community? Who do you feel is the easiest to talk to? From an age perspective, who best represents the demographic of Marina? Is, the existing council is, probably an average age of 50 or 60. Does that represent you, or would you like to see somebody on the council that brings that median age down a little bit? So I really do encourage people to go to the City of Marina website, cityofmarina.org. And you will see the link to participate in the meeting tonight. Listen to the presentations, give public comment, support the candidate that you feel is the strongest and will best represent you in the future.
Thank you, Brian. I personally, this isn't something to say, hey, go out and vote for Brian. I personally respect you as we talk behind the scenes. You reached out to me and said, "Hey Nate, you know, I'm not asking you to vote for me or reach or advocate for me. I'm just asking for if do you think I'll be a good city council member as an African American man who lives here?" And I said, "You know what? I've only seen you do good things for Black and Brown community, but also for Marina in general. And I don't. Sad to say, no other candidate has come to me and asked, to talk to me. And I'm not saying I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm just saying that there's a lot of other big name people all across the county that have come to me just to talk to me or ask for their endorsement, all these other things. And you have the bravery to at least say, hey, could you tell me what I can do if I'm not doing enough for the Black and Brown community? If I got this position, what can I do more? But like I said, it's not just the Black and Brown community because Marina is so diverse, right? But we do need to move to the 21st century. In my opinion, I hope that we have more young people stay in this beautiful small town in the future. And this is just coming from a resident. Then just then go off to a San Jose or a Seaside or Monterey. We love our surrounding cities, but this is our town, and I hope that if you are the candidate, the choice, that after the city council members vote in, that you will be someone that brings us to the future. Let's forget 2020 and move to 2021. It's been rough this year. But if you have any final thoughts on if you were the city council member, what do you want from Marina? Just from your heart, what do you want as a resident from what you've seen? Yeah, just speak from your heart.
So, let's say two things. One is I think we all experience a high quality of life here, and that's why we stay, right? It's a beautiful place. The weather's incredible, but we have serious challenges. And part of those, we have a friendly population, but we also have a population that isn't always willing to talk to each other in transparent ways. And so, I want to allow us to use technology, among other things, to bring us together, to have more of these Zoom meetings, these Facebook Live sessions. I really appreciate you sharing, this wonderful platform that you've built and this following that you've worked hard to build, to kind of allow other people to listen to what I have to say and form their own opinions, and I welcome all the people that are listening to reach out to me directly if you want to have a one-on-one. I really encourage that. And again, Nate, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Brian. And I look forward to seeing you via Zoom on the Marina City Council meeting. And